Lambda Genie has two parts. The Lambda Genie console that allows you to define your business entities, your rules, your feature flags, and your configuration, and the runtime that you'll import in your code. So let's start in this video series with the Lambda Genie console. Go to the Lambda Genie website, click on the Lambda Genie console link. It should take you to the sign up page. Here, let's set up our user, Lambda Genie, gmail.com. Just agree to the terms, create an account. It will send you a code. You want to pick up that code, confirm, and that should take you to the dashboard. On the left-hand side, you should see entities, business rules, lists, and Lambda configs. You'll notice that by default, it will automatically make a user profile entity for you. And what we're going to do as a part of this tutorial is we're going to build an e-commerce store. And the e-commerce store is going to have these 4 slots at the top that each shows a product category. The second slot is a little special because we're going to apply business rules to the second slot on basis of the logged on users' age and gender. So this is going to have a specific business rule. This one is going to have dynamic configuration, and we'll define the configuration schema as well as the dynamic configuration for this slot. And this one is going to demonstrate the feature flag functionality built into Lambda Genie. So we already went into the finished the first step. We went to the console and we set up our account. And as you can see that we want to add a couple of attributes to our user profile entity, because as a part of this this module, we are going to apply business rules to the user profile entity. Now, you could have additional business entities that you apply business rules to, but for this demo, we're just going to modify the user profile entity and apply business rules to the user profile entity. So let's go back into Lambda Genie and the console, click on add age, and let's also add gender. Age is going to be a number, and gender is going to be a selection. So now that that's done, let's go back into the tutorial, and you want to configure your environment. So if you look at going to the lists, you'll see that by default we'll make 3 environments for you. Now, this is just a sample setup. You could have more environments, you could have less, you could have different environments. That's all fine. But what that maps to is this drop down here. So if you look at any of the screens, you'll see that there's an environments drop down. What this means is for the list of environments that you have defined in your system, you can provide customization. So you can have custom rules, custom list values, custom configurations per environment. And we'll see some of this in this video and the upcoming videos. So once that's done, let's go into the lists module and create a new list. The purpose of this list is to control access to a specific feature. In our case, we want to control access to this feature using this list, a combination of list and business rules. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's create a new list. Let's call it beta feature users. And what do we want to do? We want to add a couple of users to it, right? So let's add this user. So now what this means is in every environment, this is the only user who has access to the beta features, right? So in the tutorial, we have this additional environment. So let's set that up. So what we want to do is in the test environment, you'll see as soon as I pick the test environment, the values went away, because what this means is we haven't defined any custom variant for the test environment. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to say internal, and we also want to continue to have admin in that list. So let's say admin. So what we've done here is we have said in the test environment, internal and admin have access to the beta feature users, right? And then you might be wondering, well, what if I want everybody to have access to this beta feature in the dev environment? So for that, we can use business rules. So if you look at the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to define the business rules. If you go into the console, let's click on rules, let's click on create rule set, and we'll say next gen feature and the entity that we're going to apply these rules against. Now, you could have rules that, if you could have custom entities, I don't know, products, customers, what say you? But in this case, because we are just implementing some personalization features, we're going to apply these rules against the user profile entity. So let's click on that, and let's click on create rule set. Now, once that's done, you want to click on add a rule, and what we want to say is, if you look at the instructions, is you want to say email is in predefined list of beta feature users. This is the list that we just defined, right? So click on add, click on email, and we say is in predefined list. Now this is different than in list. In list is where you can define values in line. In predefined list means you can control who gets to see the features outside of the rule itself. So click on this, and if the email is in this list, we return the value Boolean true. Click on yes. Now, one of the things we want to do is we want to set up a variant of this rule in the dev environment. So we want everybody to have access to this feature in the dev environment. So how do we do that, right? So let's click on dev. Now you'll notice that the rule went away. What this means is there is no dev-specific variant of this rule. So it will just use the default rule, right? So what we want to do is go into dev, click on add rule, right? And click on email. And we want everybody to have access to this feature. So we just say wildcard, and we say star, and we return true if that's the case. So now we've defined a variant of this rule specifically for the dev environment that says everybody has access to this feature, while in all other environments you have to be in this list to have access to this feature. And even within the list, you can say who has access in which environment. So this kind of, I wanted to give you an overview of how you can use both environment-specific lists and environment-specific rules to customize the behavior of your system across environments. So that's, there's quite a bit to pack in one video. So in the next video, we'll go through and set up some additional configuration schemas and configurations for your lambdas. So see you in the next one.